Hi, this is Paula from Alanda Craft, and in this video I'm going to show you how to engrave a bracelet using the ScanNCut and the Zoom Precision Engraving Tool. Now we've already done a video on this tool and I'll link it in the description field below, but basically what it allows you to do is to engrave on things like aluminium, copper, leather, plastic, glass, silver, those sort of things. Now the creators of this tool have just released a new range of products and I'll link to those in the description field below. But in this video I'm going to be focusing on their new bracelet kit. And as you can see with this kit you get a number of different size bracelet blanks to work with and also a tool that allows you to shape the bracelets. So let's get on and show you how to do this. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is just grab a blank, one of the blanks from the kit. And you can see it's got a blue coating on both sides. It's just really just to protect it. But you need to peel off one side of that. And it comes off nice and easily, just peels off. And I've left the other side with the blue coating because what I'm going to be doing is putting some two-sided tape on this. You can see that's the one I've got there. I'll link to that in the description below. But I wanted to leave the blue on there because I didn't want any of the adhesive to stick to the actual bracelet. And that was easier to just do it this way. So I'm putting the adhesive on that blue side. And then I'm going to find a mat, and I'm using, I think that's a medium tack mat I've used, but you could use a standard mat or a low tack, or even a mat that's lost all of its stickiness, because the two-sided adhesive will really hold it well if you've used a good two-sided adhesive. So now I'm just lining it up on one of the dotted lines because I want this to be perfectly straight because I don't want the text to look crooked on the bracelet. So I've just done that. Now I'm going to load it into the machine. And you can see there I've already got the Zoom tool in the machine. I've already put it in there. And I'm just going to take it out now just to show you the tip I'm using because this tool comes with 3 different size tips. And I'm using the regular one. But there's also that sharp, you can see the sharp one there. And also a more blunt one. So I'm using the one that sort of goes in the middle of the two. I find that works for most of this engraving on aluminium and copper and that sort of thing. Okay, so just popping that back in. And on the machine itself, I'm selecting pattern. And you can choose a font from the machine and type your text that way, but I've actually got something saved in the machine there. So you can see I'm just finding it in the machine. It's it there. And I'll go OK. Now this is super big, the text, and also I have no idea where to place it on the mat to print over my bracelet. So I need to click on the scan button there and then press the start stop button to start scanning. So once it scans through, I'll be able to see where I can place the text now. Okay, so there it is on the mat. See, now the text is way too big. So now I'm going to go in and click on the edit button to make this smaller. Click on that one and that button there, and now I can reduce the size. So you're just really eyeballing it at this stage, just choosing a size that looks like it might work. And then we'll go OK. Okay, so now I can just click on that with my stylus and just drag it down into the spot where I think it might suit. And at this point it needs kind of nudging over, so I use the nudge tools here. I click on that button there, that'll allow me just to nudge it up and down or back and back, left and right. So I need to nudge it over. And then what you can do when you've done that is you can click on the zoom tool at the top just to make sure you've done this right because it's very small to see at this point. So click on the zoom tool and then expand it even further. And now I can see it a little better there. And you can move those arrows just so you can see the whole thing on the screen. I was pressing the wrong button, that should have been that one, yep. So now I can see the whole thing and see whether it's centered. Now bear in mind I was on an angle doing this, so it was very difficult to see if I was centering this right. So it took me a while to just sort of bring it back and forward and kept pressing the zoom tool and just to check that it was right. And then I thought I should resize it, make it a little bit bigger, the text, so that's why I came back in and resized, and then I zoomed, you can see I zoomed back in again just to double check again. And it's worth doing this, it's worth taking a little bit of time to do this because you don't want to waste these blanks, you don't want to do a dodgy job here, you want to do it nicely. So you can see I kept nudging it over and going back into the Zoom and just checking again, just to make sure that it was perfect. So once I had it just exactly where I wanted it to be, I went and clicked OK to get out of this Zoom screen here. And then I went into the edit section again, because what I wanted to do was fill the text. Otherwise you're left with an outline of the text, and that might be the look you want, but otherwise you need to click on that fill button there. Then you go OK. And now we need to click through OK again. And one more time, because now we're ready to click on the draw button. Now before we start engraving, we need to change our settings. So click on that icon. And you can see here we've got a draw speed of 1 and a draw pressure of 9. Now we need that 9 pressure because it just creates a nicer engraving. I found when I have a very heavy pressure, it does a great job. So make those changes and you can go OK. And I just wanted to show you now what happens when you press the start button. So we're ready to go, but when you press the start button, what you get is this message pop up, and that's because we're using a tool that's not a Brother product, okay, so it doesn't seem to recognize it. So, but all you have to do is just go OK, and then press the start button again and it'll work. And there you go, it starts to engrave. Now the two-sided tape, you can see how well it's worked. It's not moving around. That plate is staying right in its place. And there you go, all done. And now I'm just removing it from the mat. And you can see the two-sided tape has stayed on the mat there. Sometimes it'll stay on the blue sticky bit, sometimes it'll stay on the mat. But it comes off fairly easily, really quite easily. Okay, so we've got the tool there now, and this was my second attempt at using it. I think a little bit more practice will help, just holding it in place and that sort of thing. But otherwise it worked pretty well. So just bend it round one end, and then you don't go all the way around, you just bend it a little bit, and then you'd pop the other end in and just turn it and bend that around. Fairly easy to bend. Like that. Super easy. There you go, all done. You can see I've still got the blue tape there, and I'm just going to peel that off now. You can peel it off before you do that, but I thought, oh well, just prevents it from scratching. And just peel it off at the last moment because it comes off really quite easily. And there you go, all done. Came out great. I was really pleased with how it came out. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.